that was kind of how we also made our money, besides me at the strip club or whatever I needed to do to supplement and only DJ for a living, right? Yeah. But Matthew Console and I, this was when I first saw also Pro Tools. Yeah. I saw somebody with Pro Tools, and it just opened my eyes, because I was one of those kind of people that always viewed music in color. And when I saw Pro Tools, it was like these tracks, and each one was a different color, you know, so I kind of like identified with it right away. But that was also before there was downloading music, right? So what we would do is we would create our own compilation. And I had this idea. So we're in San Francisco, and Matthew is really popular in the gay community, and I'm like kind of this producer guy, and I'm kind of like, I've got this idea, and we both kind of came up with this idea. Let's compile all the best house music songs, because nobody could. How are you going to get the music? Like, people get a mixtape from a DJ is the only way you're going to hear that song, or you would order the album. Or maybe a compilation from a label, but in general, like, you couldn't buy individual songs. Yeah. Back then. Right. It was in the 90s, the early 90s.
Yeah, it was kind of the whole song. Or maybe they had, I mean, they eventually had CDs with just like two tracks on it.
This was CD time. It was like, little EPs, whatever. But we would compile them and mix them into a compilation that mixes together, and we called it Go Girl.
Sweet.
Go Girl, right? We would take these songs, and we would mix them on Pro Tools. Sometimes we would lay them over with the vinyl, like from vinyl to the CD. Yeah. Because you couldn't get the CD of the songs, so you just have the vinyl. So you'd record from the turntable, do the mix, get it into Pro Tools, and then edit them together, right? And we would go down to Gay Pride and the Folsom Fair and all of these like big events here in San Francisco, and we'd rent a booth. Whoa. Now, you know, we were only doing limited amounts, but it was a cool novelty, right? So I've always been kind of a novelty DJ, like producing, and I got that, you know, it's just kind of my thing. Sure. Yeah. But so Go Girl became really popular. Like, it was the cool thing, right? And so we would sell them at these fairs, and they were promo only. So it's like we could only do 1,000 run was the legal like limit at the time, because otherwise you're bootlegging. Oh yeah. Right.
But you could do another CD.
So we could do another CD, right? So at some point we ended up having probably 20 or more volumes of these things, but we started out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So but that kind of got me in with the San Francisco crowd. Like, Go Girl was popular. So my first San Francisco gig was at Oasis, which is right next door here.
Yeah. Oasis is great.
Right. And I haven't been there in 20 years, but back then that was like a connection I had, right? And Matthew had a gig there or whatever. And so I ended up started playing some house music there. But then there was also 1015, and they had me in the 80s room. Oh, right. Because I had experience with 80s. Yeah. So that was kind of old hat. I could do that, but I'm working in the city, and I get to play house here. And, you know, I got the Go Girl thing going on, and I'm still doing my, you know, kind of producing remixes and stuff like that and putting them on Go Girl. Right. Right. Wow. So it's like radio remix, but with house music. Nice. Right. Yeah. So that was cool, because it all kind of just kind of morphed into the next part of the journey, which was, you know, connecting with people who are opening clubs like DNA right here next to you guys as well. Back in 95, 96 was just bought by Rob Schneider, the actor.
I was going to ask you how that all worked in, because I saw that on your press kit.
Yeah, yeah.
So Rob Schneider
he bought the DNA Lounge.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the DJ.
This is before Jamie. No, Jamie's Showinski. I don't know how you say that.
I don't think. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Was it the DNA Lounge at the time?
It was the DNA Lounge.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was the early 90s. So he bought it at the time. Blackstone was the resident DJ there. So was DJ Blackstone. Yeah. Very popular, like world-renowned DJ Blackstone. Yeah. And the new owners, Rob and his brother John Schneider. Okay. So I basically filled in for Blackstone one time. Matthew Consola says, Blackstone needs somebody to come and fill him. He's like new owners, and he can't do it, and can you, fill in? So I did. I went and filled in for Blackstone. And afterwards, John took me in the back office, and he offered me a job. And I said, well, this is Blackstone's job. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said, plus I'm over at 1015 Folsom doing 80s every this and that. And it was a very top 40 club. It was like a mix of like top 40 and then some 80s dance, Depeche Mode and stuff like that. And at that time, like Robin S. had just came out. Oh. So that was a commercial house song. Show Me Love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we could play that too. Like it was kind of like commercial top 40, but in a different style. It was house music.
Sure.
Pop house, if you will. But, so he offered me the job. I turned it down. And then at some point, it's kind of a blur. But honestly, I did turn him down first, and then Blackstone quit. Like they had a breakdown. Something happened. I don't know if it was what it was over, but I kind of was put in the middle of it because the next thing you know, they're calling me and they're like, well, Blackstone quit, and I don't even know what happened exactly, except now there's another opportunity. And, it was one of those things where you just have to just take opportunities when they come your way. So
absolutely. Yeah.
So, back then too, I was doing really well at 1015 Folsom. I was making pretty good money. So I gave them how much I was making at 1015 Folsom, and they just laughed. They said, well, we're never pay a DJ that much money. I said, okay, well, I can't step down from what I make, what I'm worth, Yeah. So that was another no. And then about a week later, I got a call. And this is pretty much how it all kind of went down. But at some point, we negotiated, a deal. So then I'm at DNA Lounge. And DNA Lounge was like hopping. They would have, it's the coolest thing because back then it was like they'd have a band first. Groove Line, they were a disco band, the Wigs, cover band, full on disco. Yeah. The outfits.
What year is this?
Flights. 97, 96, okay. 96, 97.
Sure, yeah.
And it could have been 95. I mean, gosh, it's such a blur.
It's hard to,
It's such a blur. I don't remember dates. Come on. Anyways. But it was back then when it was like really the hoppin' club, right?
Yeah.
So it made it really easy for me because I would open up or maybe have another DJ open up for me. But then the band would go on. And then after the band at 11 o'clock, it was just like the place was packed. And that's kind of like the easiest transition ever.
Yeah.
I remember one time John Schneider was like, the band was just going and we're standing up in the balcony. And he goes, what's the first song you're going to play? I said, well, I don't know yet. I don't know, man.
It's going to come to me.
Yeah, it'll happen, dude. And I'm kind of thinking, what the hell am I going to play? Oh, geez, these guys are playing every disco hit there is, right? But I'll never forget, it was one of those moments where I was like, when I knew I was going to play, and as soon as the band was done, I slammed into Dancing Queen.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is a song not on their playlist because they had a male singer, and it was like, it's probably not in their repertoire, but it was just a song, like you can't go wrong with Dancing Queen.
Right.
Like, who doesn't love fucking ABBA?
Yeah.
So I slammed into Dancing Queen, and the place just went berserk. And I remember looking through the window, the DJ booth that was down below and everything, and looking up at John Schneider, and he's looking down at me. It's like, okay, all right, this guy kind of knows, And again, as the DNA Lounge lasted, I think it was like a 3 or 4 year run. But what I would do is I would do DNA Lounge, and then I got my foot in the door at a party called Release. It was the after hours party of the city. Yeah. And it was also started at DV8, which is now Temple.
Oh, right.
But was also at 1015 Folsom at that point. And it took me a while to kind of get in it. Back then it was like, and I probably like that today too. It's almost like it's very political.
Yeah.
The business. And, we'll get into that a little bit further as we get down to the story. But back then it was kind of like, I had fans that were campaigning for me.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. It was kind of like, that was the way to get in, is like, I didn't really send them like, go talk to Martel and Nabil, but they would go and be like, hey, you should get BB Hayes, have you heard this guy? Da, da, da. So eventually I got my foot in the door at release. And so it was this package deal where I'd be at DNA Lounge, and then after hours at release till 6 a.m. And then after that, everybody